relationships, trauma, philosophy, relationships, trauma, philosophy.
Another belief is I'm envious of the amount of countries other couples have visited. Very much an assumption of other couples' travel experiences are always perfect. Well, yeah, you have a story for this, don't you?
I do. And I just want to preface this by saying, like, social media is a highlights reel. You're very, very, very rarely going to see people talking about the things that they haven't enjoyed on their trip. You'll see, like if you ask a friend, like they'll post pictures and like, oh, I'm having a lovely time, margaritas on the pool by the beach, whatever. Then they come back, wow, it looks like I had an amazing time. Like, oh God, we did nothing but argue. Or you'll never guess what happened. The hotel was a mess. And then they'll tell you in person all the things that went wrong, but they're not posting that on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok for you youngins. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, I do have a story on that. And that is that somebody that I work with or used to work with, she and her partner travel a lot. So like I worked in a school, and so every school holiday she's away, she's traveling, and she's been to so many. Like I think she's been to more places than me and Scott, and we've been traveling solidly for the last couple of years, and it's easy to feel envious of that. I see a post and I'm like, oh right, like she's been there, or and even like so more recently she's been to some places that we've been, and I even feel envious of that, and that's wild because we're currently traveling and having the best time. So I think it's easy to look at other people's posts online and feel envious of what they're doing, but I think it's important to remember that like you can't compare yourself to other people. Like the fact that a full-time digital nomad, as much as I don't like that term.
Slow mad.
Digital slow mad.
Or just slow mads.
We're just slow mads, no digital involved.
No, yeah.
We are literally, in my opinion, not to counter what we've just said, I feel like I'm living the dream. But I would still compare myself to other people that are traveling. Anytime somebody posts a travel pic, I get envious. So I think just try and not compare yourself to other people.
Yeah, I think at the end of it, my experience in that is ego is at the core of it, and I don't think we can get rid of it. And I don't think it's totally healthy to get rid of it. I think it seems strange to say, but I think a bit of ego is good. I think a bit of ego I find in my life has driven me to successes. And in the same breath, it's also driven me to do silly things. So it's just keeping an eye on it. I know I have a good friend network as well who would call me out if my ego is running away. And I know you would call me out and sort of catch each other, even in just small moments. And I think that's what we're really good for. But I've never been able to get rid of it. Yeah.
Not easy. Well, the next one is we won't have enough time for intimacy. And I can understand that this would be a worry for people if they're thinking we've got backpacking, going from country to country, hostel to hostel, or Airbnb to Airbnb. And the belief around that is that travel will reduce connection or romance even.
That's the assumption.
Yeah.
So the belief is we won't have enough time for intimacy, which assumes travel will reduce the connection or romance.
Yeah. So couples can still find intimacy, and planning and presence matter more than location. So I think there's a fun story around this.
I'm not sharing this. You share this story. And I want to make it clear, Shelby requested to put this story in. This may be redacted because I said you got to say it because it's not going to come out well from my mouth.
Well, okay. Well, basically we learned when we were traveling in Asia that, and no shade on this as well. Like I don't need to sound like I'm throwing shade. I'm not. It's just anatomically factual. Basically, we could only find smaller condoms in certain countries in Asia. And that's not all countries, I might add. Japan was fine. But Indonesia, we got condoms, and they were literally in like a chewing gum wrapper. They were really, like, they didn't fit. And I'm firmly of the belief it's not the size of the boat, it's the motion in the ocean, to paraphrase McFly, or to quote McFly, I guess. But yeah, basically, we could only get small condoms in Indonesia, and that was quite frustrating. When we were in Malaysia, we were there for Valentine's Day, and we did manage to get some. They put the millimeterage of circumference, don't they?
Yeah, I was blown away by that.
Yeah, so they're very specific. It's not like just like regular large, extra large, whatever. They are millimeter diameter explanation or circumference, or I don't remember exactly what the measurement was.
And they all sucked the life out of me.
They all suffocated my darling. But we found some on Grab, the app, which is like it's taxi service, food delivery service. for
My
the
head,
boys.
Shelby spent the next one studying condoms in Asia. You literally, you analyze the packaging online. You understand. I didn't know the millimeter thing. You understood that, and you managed to find this like one shop in the whole Malaysia on Valentine's Day.
I did, and it was on Grab, and I think it might have been like they'll go into the pharmacy. But the thing is, when you order something through Grab, the Grab driver has to go into the shop, pick out the item, and then deliver it to you. And we found the only ones we could find that were correct were some chocolate flavored ones. So on Valentine's Day, this poor man had to go into a shop, pick up some chocolate flavored condoms, and then hand deliver them to us. And it's good. And not right. There's a whole story around that where you farted as well and then hid around the corner. I don't remember exactly the situation. But you're coming out of the elevator. You just did a massive fart.
Oh yes. Oh, was that on the way down?
It was
Oh yes.
romantic.
Romantic.
See,
Yeah.
you can make time for romance when you travel.
You absolutely, that it's a funny story, and I was a bit shy sharing that, but it's an honest story, and even in those funny moments, we've managed to find intimacy. So it can be difficult, especially when the aircon unit stops working, and there's lots of noise around your accommodation. But we have found those moments that we've made it special for us.
Yeah.
Whether that's going out for dinner together or trying to find the biggest condoms we can in Malaysia.
There you go.
So we have one more belief we want to go through here before we get to our segments. And do stick around for the segments, because that's going to be very much sharing one of the biggest, would you say aphrodisiac?
Yes.
The biggest new aphrodisiac you never knew about. So men, listen up. And I'm sure, and in Shelby's Good Vibes Only.
Yes, we are going to be discussing the happiness level that traveling brings you.
Yeah, so do stick around for that. There's some quick segments at the end of the episode. So let's get into the final belief. One of us might want to stop or slow down. I hear this a lot from people. I had this same belief. And this very much assumes that we will disagree in the relationship on the pace, and it will cause resentment. Now, this was definitely a big belief of mine before we were starting. As you've learned at the start of this episode, I came in pretty ballsy, and I sort of didn't realize at the time how ballsy that was, because I could have lost Shelby to that very comment saying, look, I'm off traveling for 3 years. Either jump on or jump off, which is pretty. Now I think of
Book
it.
a ticket or fuck off.
I saw. Luckily, you were on board. So that was pretty sort of hardcore. But what we've done and where we've balanced is, one, my plan was to go traveling. It was probably about 6 to maybe 8 months before we started. So one, adapted that straight away, because I realized, oh, wait a minute, I've actually found one that I want to stick with here. This is a real person that I'm really connecting with. That's important. I need to focus on that. As they say, the love comes at the most unexpected moments, don't they? So I was like, that's too important. That's a big time. So focused on that. And we obviously spoke about all our dreams and desires, and travel was very much one. So we made it adaptable to us. I pushed my plan back by about 8 months. And what we did is I would say also made it made it like a lifestyle. So we would travel on average for about 8 months a year for the last 3 years. And in the other 4 months, we'd be back for summer, So we could connect with our family, see all our friends. And summer in the UK, everyone's out, everyone's catching up, lots of birthdays around that time. And we came back for Christmas time. So then we could spend Christmas, New Year's, see everyone catch up. And we came back for a few weddings and notable events. So does that add a bit of cost flying back and forth? Yes. But I think if you are smart with your planning and you're not going back more than sort of twice in a year, and also what we also did is went from country to country that got us closer, or to a country which was just randomly really cheap to get home, like Hong Kong was just like crazy cheap to get home.
Yeah.
Then we would do that. So we adjusted. Again, in my mind, I was like, I'm going now and I'm going for 3 years and I pretty much want to go 100% except for Christmas. But we adapted that. So yes, we wanted to go at different speeds and different approaches, but because we realized that we loved each other and how important that is, we just started listening, and we both had the goal. So it would have been a bit silly if we then became stubborn when we both wanted the same thing. It kind of would have, the result of it would have been nothing would have happened.
Yeah.
So I think we just naturally, it wasn't like a forceful thing. I think there would have definitely been moments of like struggle and maybe a bit of friction at times of our travel plans. I'll admit that. But I think for the most part, I'm overjoyed with how it's worked out.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Like we've been really adaptable to each other's wants, and like if there's somewhere specific that one of us has wanted to be on our birthdays, for example, in our first year of travel, we went to the French Open. For me, France was never on the plan, but we had an amazing time, so we did that. We've kind of rejigged things this year around your birthday, and that's worked out really well that we've done that. So I think it's just been At the end of the day, don't be stubborn. Like, don't be, no, this is the plan and that's that, and I'm doing this and you can get on board or you can go elsewhere. Like, you're a partnership, and if one of you's struggling and you want to go, and also you know what, like, every relationship's different. I think be willing to say, well, I'm ready for going home now and I'm happy for you to continue for a couple of months. Really early in our relationship, we went to Mexico for a month and I had to go home for work. Scott had work in the United States, and so he decided to stay in Central America, in North America for I think it was an extra 2 months.
Yeah.
And that was like in the first year of our relationship. So if we can do that, then I think you can securely in your relationship, wherever you are in it, just be willing to, if necessary, travel separately for a little bit.
Yeah. Being adaptable and knowing that you are capable.